Hi everybody, my name is Seán Adderley and I'm the Student Partner Liaison Officer for the Trinity Inclusive Curriculum Project, and I'm happy to be talking to the Undergraduate Studies Committee today about making our Blackboard module clearer for students. And just before I continue, I'll ask, what is the typical Trinity student? Well, the fact is there isn't one. The Trinity Inc. student partners themselves would say that Trinity students come from all walks of life, from different backgrounds, different experiences, different abilities, and different values and beliefs. And that's why accessibility and inclusive practices are so important. So today, when I'm talking about making your Blackboard module clearer for students, I'll just briefly talk about an overview of the issues that were identified by the Trinity student partners, and examples of the preferred Blackboard module structures that were identified, and some additional strategies for Blackboard, and what to remember when you are structuring your Blackboard module. Finally, then, I'll point you in the direction of another resource that gets into these issues in greater detail. So what we've done is we asked the Trinity Inc. student partners to examine the layout, the clarity and the consistency of their Blackboard modules and provide us with some feedback. Here's an overview of the main issues that were found. And as an undergraduate myself, I would have encountered many of these issues on Blackboard too. So that it would be a lack of clarity and consistency, too many clicks to access files, a lack of proper labeling, and disorganization. And these issues can become particularly amplified during assessment periods, as it can become quite taxing to navigate a disorganized Blackboard module when you're trying to study for exams. And remember that it will take a bit of time to structure your Blackboard modules in this way, but the investment pays off. You can likely roll these modules over year after year with probably only some minor tweaks, if any. So an example of the preferred Blackboard module structure, which was identified by the Trinity student partners, but also by school champions and other academic partners that we worked with, say the structure works quite well. So the layout of the blue sidebar in the modules could be structured as follows, with these four core components. So you have a section for announcements, a section with module outline, including a module description, learning outcomes, and assessment and assignment guidelines and timelines. Then the content to be divided by weeks, so weeks 1 to 12, including a title and or a description of that week. Also include a section for assignments, both for submitting assignments, but also for obtaining feedback on those assignments too. So this is just an example then of the Trinity Inc. Module on Blackboard for inclusive teaching practices. And I think it speaks for itself for clarity and consistency. And this was developed mostly by Dr. Dorina Johnson, the project manager. And you still have your core four components identified by the Trinity Inc. student partners. You've got announcements, you've got plenty of module information across different sections, and the weeks are divided with titles and descriptions included. And just moving on from that, we've got the subsection or subfolder layout then of when you click into week 1 or week 2 and what the students will see. Now, the student said that it would be good to include a weekly description and outline, that learning materials such as reading materials or any other materials should be consistently and clearly labeled, including author and title, type of file, is it an article, a book, a podcast, or even a video. A section for lecture recordings if there are some, and then a section for other resources like further reading or what have you. So some additional strategies to kind of help you on your journey of making your Blackboard module clearer and more engaging for students is to perhaps include a weekly wrap-up video of about 4 or 5 minutes, highlighting the key components from that week and what to expect then next week. Also, there's a Muddiest Card forum, and this is an anonymous thread for students to admit what they don't understand so that lecturers can, help clarify things. So these are just some things to remember when you are structuring your Blackboard module, and that's trying to limit the amount of clicks it takes to access a file. Clarity and consistency are key. So, and also be descriptive and informative when labeling files, folders, or sections. And remember that an accessible and navigable Blackboard module can help significantly reduce the volume of student queries. And this is one of the main points made by Dr. Jacqueline Whelan in the Trinity Skills session on creating accessible content in a Blackboard module. So Dr. Jacqueline Whelan demonstrates her approach to setting up her Blackboard module, and there's also contributions from 2 other Trinity School champions, Dr. Joanne Banks from the School of Education and Dr. Brendan O'Connell from the School of English. So thank you for your time today, and if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact the Trinity team. Thanks again.